Hi, I'm Magdalena from the Wnętrza channel. In the comments on my last video, you asked me to show you my Christmas tree, which surprised me a bit because I didn't think anyone would be interested, but since you are, I'd be happy to tell you about it. As you can see, my Christmas tree isn't the tallest, so I'll get down to its level. Although I have to admit that this particular one is the biggest I've had so far, because I always buy potted Christmas trees. And they can't be that big because it would just be hard to lift them. And this Christmas tree didn't seem that big either when I was looking at it at the garden store out in the open. And when we had to carry it up the stairs here, because at the store, the guys just put it in the trunk. But here, there was a problem with even getting it out. But luckily, with the help of my family, we managed to get it in somehow. And in the end, it turned out that the pot had special handles, and we could have carried it in much more easily than we did. But well, if you don't think through your strategy ahead of time, sometimes you just have to work a bit harder. But getting back to the main topic, which isn't the tree itself but the decorations on it, I think the oldest ones are those little stars and hearts that I once bought at Tiger, and they were actually sold as gift tags. But they're wooden, made from what I think is thin plywood. And it would just be a shame to treat them as something disposable, so I used them on the Christmas tree. So it wouldn't look so bare, I also made some stars out of cardboard. And they have these frames made with correction fluid. From a distance they look nice, but up close, like typical DIY, they could be more precise and prettier. But who really looks at the Christmas tree from that close up? Well, I don't, so it doesn't bother me. And for years now, these cardboard stars have also been on the Christmas tree. And interestingly, I showed how I made them in one of the first videos on the channel. I don't know if it's still available, and even if it's not, it's no big loss. My general rule when choosing decorations for the Christmas tree is that they shouldn't take up too much space. Because from my family home, I know that when you hang those round glass ornaments and then have to pack them so they don't break, you end up with 3 big suitcases full of ornaments in the basement. I don't want to do it that way. I don't have that much storage space. So from the beginning, the idea was to have small decorations. What's more, when the kids were little, I didn't want them to get hurt. I didn't want them to break the ornaments. So I chose things that wouldn't break. Now I've moved away from that rule a little bit. I was tempted by some ceramic decorations from IKEA. They're a bit rough, heavy for those little trees, but they work. And this year I also went for pierogi ornaments. And there's an interesting story behind the pierogi ornaments because I showed them to you in the video from the Nice Things Fair. It's a video about handicrafts. I showed some really nice things there, but almost no one watched it, so I warmly encourage you to check it out if you haven't seen it yet. And my daughter watched that video, saw the pierogi ornaments and said, "Mom, I want those." Well, I liked them too, so I said, "All right." And it turned out that all the ones with faces, the ones I liked the most, were already sold out. But we're not dealing with a corporation here, just a small artisan, so the ceramicist offered to make those faces especially for me and do another firing, which was really nice. But that was another firing, and not everything went according to plan, so me of the dumpling ornaments didn't turn out well. And you could buy them as outlet pieces. And since I love outlet products, as you know, I have a lot of ceramics from Bolesławiec, also from the outlet. And I also sell my own book in an outlet version. And I love this solution, because in the store you can see these differences. You can see that this product has some damage and it's just not perfect, but then at home you don't pay attention to it at all. And that's delightful in its own way, and I really encourage you to save money like this. What's more, I also get messages from you saying that you bought an outlet album and expected much bigger flaws than there actually were, which is very nice for me. Well, I do evaluate everything in the warehouse. I compare these products, and those flaws seem very significant to me when I compare them directly. But I do understand that later at home you don't really pay attention to it anymore. I feel the same way when I buy outlet items. So when the discounted dumpling ornaments appeared, I just couldn't resist them, and in the end, I have a lot more of them than I originally planned. And what's more, it worked out nicely because there were some issues with the delivery, you know how it is before the holidays, and I was able to pick up the dumpling ornaments in person, right in the town where I was spending Christmas Eve. So it was a funny coincidence, really. Apparently the dumplings were meant for me. By the way, I love dumplings, especially the potato and cheese ones, and also the ones with fruit. The ones with cabbage and meat, not so much, but the others are fantastic, like with ricotta cheese and spinach or even some yellow cheeses. Those are really good too. No, really, dumplings have so many delicious variations, and right now I can't eat them for a while, and I'm really sad about it. But here we still have some birds. The birds are beautiful. They're soft, so they won't break, but they're quite big, so they break my rule of only having small ornaments on the Christmas tree, but honestly, they're so cute that I forgive them. Here, on the other hand, we have these paper decorations, and I was tempted by them just like I was by the dumplings this year. And somehow, completely by accident, I think it was in Rossmann, I went in to buy shampoo and ended up leaving with Christmas tree ornaments. It's really nice to open this when it's first rolled up flat and then you unfold it and it turns into such a beautiful shape. It's amazing. I felt that the kids would like it, and I wasn't wrong. One of the balls is currently hanging not on the Christmas tree but in my daughter's room, so that says something. And of course they're not too flat or too small either, but you can fold them up if you need to and then glue them back together, and they're also relatively light, which is a plus. As for these little figures and reindeer, I honestly don't know where I got them from. I think I received them as a gift. Here, on the other hand, I have a regular ornament, and it's decorated by my daughter. It says, "For Mom." And since we're talking about things made by children or with children, here we have the Queen of Christmas Tree Decorations, which is an ornament from preschool featuring my daughter. Honestly, the ladies at the kindergarten had some really amazing ideas. Let's be real, what is a little heart compared to an ornament with my daughter on it? This is the coolest Christmas tree decoration I have. I'll tell you how it's made because you can use this idea in different ways. First, the children at preschool had their photos taken, then the children were cut out from those photos, and here we have Lena. At the bottom, the snow is simply made from white paper and there are snowflakes all around. The whole thing is laminated and cut out. Done. There's really no big secret to it. The effect is truly great. Down here at the bottom, there's also the inscription, December 2019. So as you can see, this decoration has been reigning for quite a few years now. Sometimes it's on the Christmas tree, sometimes it hangs on that blue wardrobe behind me, just on the handle so it's easy to see. And with smaller Christmas trees, it's not always possible to find a good spot for my queen of decorations. There's also this little horse here. It's very pretty with a little bell, and I think there were two like this. There's also a garland made simply of string, and attached to it are little snowflakes and I think reindeer. I'm not completely sure. And we also have dried oranges. Oh, they used to hang here, and I tried to hang them so that there would be a little light behind them. Well, during the day there's no effect, but in the evening it looks really nice. But now there are only a few left and the kids just put them on the branches, so let's just leave it like that. Here's a little heart that was probably a decoration from a Christmas present, and somewhere here I saw another one. A copper heart. It used to be sold at the Capybara store. It was a home decor store with really nice accessories. Unfortunately, it doesn't exist anymore. Capybara once gave little gifts like this to the participants of one of the events I organized for interior design bloggers. And I also got a heart like that. That was back when I used to buy Christmas ornaments for 4 zlotys a pack. And I couldn't afford such a designer copper heart. That's why I was so happy when I saw it in the package, and it's been with me for about 10 years now, I think. So that's really nice. The Capybara store is gone now, but the heart still makes me happy, so that's really lovely. And remember that when you're doing different things. Sometimes we finish a project and we feel sad that it didn't work out, that we closed the company, that it didn't grow. But think about what you've already managed to do, and that it's still with people somewhere. Whether it's tangible or simply in memories, in knowledge, in experiences. Let me know in the comments which Christmas tree ornaments you like the most. And I want to remind you to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and to subscribe here on YouTube, ideally with the notification bell turned on. And I also invite you to visit our interior design store at wnętrzazewnecze.pl. There you can find, among other things, our album Polskie Wnętrze and the house-shaped jewelry, which I'm also wearing today. And besides that, there are lots of interior design books, games with interior and architecture themes, toys for children, everything that interior design lovers might find interesting. That's why it's worth checking it out and coming back in the following weeks, because we still have a lot of products in the queue that are just waiting to be added to the website. Adding each product is actually quite a lot of work, despite appearances. So all of this just takes time, but it will happen eventually, and you'll be impressed when it does. Seriously. And now I'm saying goodbye to you. Bye.